Are you terrified to uncover the twisted minds behind history's most notorious dictators? Today I'm diving deep into the darkest corners of history, where shadows of tyranny loom large and the echoes of suffering still resonate. We're here to unpack the twisted minds of some of the world's most notorious dictators, individuals whose names have become synonymous with terror and oppression. First up, Adolf Hitler, a man whose very name evokes terror and whose actions have left an indelible mark on history. Hitler's rise to power in 1930s Germany was both calculated and ruthless. He exploited the economic despair and political instability of the time to his advantage. His masterful manipulation of propaganda and his terrifying charisma led an entire nation into the abyss of World War II. Through speeches and rallies, he captivated the masses, turning them into instruments of his malevolent vision. But behind the scenes, he was consumed by paranoia, haunted by delusions of grandeur. His inner circle was a web of suspicion and betrayal, with Hitler trusting no one completely. Hitler's evil knew no bounds, driven by a twisted ideology that led to the Holocaust. The systematic extermination of 6 million Jews and millions of others stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history. What kind of mind can orchestrate such horror? A mind that saw human life as a mere tool for his maniacal vision, devoid of empathy and driven by a perverse sense of destiny. Hitler's regime was a chilling example of how propaganda and fear can be wielded to control and destroy. Next, Joseph Stalin, the iron-fisted ruler of the Soviet Union, whose reign was marked by unparalleled brutality. Stalin's reign of terror was marked by purges, mass executions, and a reign of fear. His policies led to the deaths of millions through famine, forced labor, and purges. His Great Purge eliminated anyone he saw as a threat, including his closest allies. The paranoia that gripped Stalin led to a climate of fear where no one was safe. Imagine living in constant fear, knowing that a single misstep could lead to your execution. The atmosphere in the Soviet Union under Stalin was one of pervasive dread. Stalin's paranoia was legendary and his cruelty unparalleled. He wielded power with an iron fist, crushing any semblance of dissent. He turned the Soviet Union into a vast police state where suspicion and betrayal were everyday realities. The secret police, or NKVD, were his instruments of terror, ensuring that his grip on power remained unchallenged. Then there's Pol Pot, the deranged leader of the Khmer in Cambodia. His vision for a radical agrarian utopia turned into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions. Pol Pot's regime was responsible for one of the most brutal genocides in history. His policies led to the deaths of an estimated 2 million people, a quarter of Cambodia's population. His vision, a radical agrarian utopia that led to the deaths of an estimated 2 million people. The Khmer Rouge forced urban populations into the countryside, where they faced starvation, forced labor, and execution. Imagine the horror of being uprooted from your home, forced into labor camps, and living in fear of execution for the slightest infraction. The brutality of Pol Pot's regime left deep scars on the Cambodian people. Pol Pot's mind was a labyrinth of fanaticism and cruelty, a dark pit where human lives were expendable. His radical ideology blinded him to the suffering he inflicted. Finally, Kim Jong Il of North Korea, a dictator obsessed with power and control. His regime was characterized by extreme isolation, propaganda, and a brutal cult of personality. Kim's regime was characterized by extreme isolation, propaganda, and a brutal cult of personality. The North Korean people were subjected to relentless indoctrination and surveillance. Under his rule, North Koreans lived in a constant state of fear and deprivation. The regime controlled every aspect of life, from the information people received to their daily activities, public executions, labor camps, and absolute control over information. All tools in Kim's arsenal to maintain his grip on power. The regime's brutality ensured that dissent was swiftly and ruthlessly crushed. These dictators shared a common trait, an insatiable hunger for power and a complete disregard for human life. Their regimes were built on fear, oppression, and the suffering of millions. Their minds were dark, twisted places where paranoia and cruelty reigned supreme. The legacy of their rule is a testament to the depths of human depravity. Remember, the evil these men unleashed serves as a grim reminder of the depths of human depravity. It is a stark warning of what can happen when power is unchecked and humanity is forsaken. If you found this dive into the minds of evil dictators riveting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more spine-chilling content. Your support helps us continue to explore these dark and fascinating topics. Stay curious and stay safe. The past holds many lessons, and it is through understanding it that we can hope to build a better future. But our journey through the shadowy corridors of tyranny is far from over. Next, we turn our gaze to the east, where more notorious dictators have left their bloody mark on history. First, let's delve into the reign of Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China. Mao's vision for China was one of radical transformation, but his path to achieving it was paved with the suffering of millions. His great leap forward, intended to rapidly industrialize the country, led to one of the deadliest famines in human history. Over 30 million people perished due to starvation and forced labor. The Cultural Revolution that followed further plunged China into chaos, with intellectuals, perceived dissidents, and even ordinary citizens becoming targets of violent purges. Mao's brand of ideological fanaticism created a climate of fear and repression, where loyalty was demanded and dissent mercilessly crushed. In the shadows of power, Kim Jong-un, the enigmatic son of Kim Jong Il, emerges as a figure shrouded in mystery and ambition. His rise to power is a tale of intrigue and ruthless determination, where Kim Jong-un continues the legacy of his father Kim Jong Il with an iron grip on the nation. Kim Jong-un's regime is marked by extreme isolation, a relentless cult of personality, and a brutal suppression of any form of dissent. The state's propaganda machine works tirelessly to maintain his image as a godlike leader, while public executions and labor camps instill fear among the populace. Despite the facade of strength, North Korea has faced severe economic struggles and famines, with millions suffering from malnutrition and poverty. Kim Jong-un's pursuit of nuclear weapons has escalated tensions globally, making North Korea a focal point of international concern. Defectors who managed to escape tell harrowing tales of life under his rule, painting a grim picture of a nation held hostage by its own leader. Kim Jong-un's paranoia has led to purges within his own ranks, with even high-ranking officials and family members falling victim to his ruthless consolidation of power. The scars of his rule are deeply etched into the collective memory of the North Korean people, a testament to the enduring impact of his tyranny. Next, we journey to Iraq, where Saddam Hussein ruled with an iron fist for decades. Saddam's regime was characterized by ruthless suppression, wars, and a relentless quest for power. His use of chemical weapons against the Kurdish population in the 1980s remains one of the most heinous acts of his dictatorship. The Anfal campaign led to the deaths of tens of thousands of Kurds, a brutal attempt to quash any opposition to his rule. Saddam's Iraq was a place where fear was a constant companion, and the dictator's paranoia led to incessant purges within his own ranks. The scars of his rule still linger in the collective memory of the Iraqi people. Moving on to Indonesia, we uncover the dark legacy of Suharto, who seized power in a bloody coup in 1965. Suharto's New Order regime was marked by widespread human rights abuses, including the mass killings of suspected communists. An estimated 500,000 people were slaughtered in the anti-communist purges, a brutal campaign that left a deep, enduring trauma on the nation. Suharto's Indonesia was a land where political dissent was met with imprisonment, torture, and execution, and where corruption and nepotism flourished under his authoritarian rule. Our next stop is the Philippines, where Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law in 1972, turning the country into his personal fiefdom. Marcos's regime was marked by widespread corruption, human rights abuses, and the looting of the nation's wealth. Under his rule, thousands were arrested, tortured, and killed for opposing his dictatorship. The Marcos era left the Philippines economically devastated and socially fractured, a stark reminder of the perils of unchecked power. Finally, we arrive in Myanmar, where General Ne Win's military junta ruled with an iron grip from 1962 to 1988. Ne Win's regime was characterized by brutal crackdowns on political dissent, economic mismanagement, and the persecution of ethnic minorities. His infamous Burmese way to socialism plunged the country into economic ruin, while his military campaigns against ethnic groups led to widespread suffering and displacement. The echoes of Ne Win's dictatorship can still be felt in Myanmar's ongoing struggles for democracy and peace. These tyrants of the East mirrored their Western counterparts in their insatiable thirst for power and their ruthless disregard for human life. Their regimes were built on fear, oppression, and the silencing of any who dared to challenge their authority. The suffering they inflicted is a somber testament to the destructive potential of absolute power. If this exploration of Asia's most notorious dictators gripped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more chilling dives into history's darkest corners. Your support helps us continue to unearth these grim tales. Stay vigilant and remember, understanding the past is crucial to building a better future.